What up peeps, thanks for having me. Today we're gonna have a look at some future bass chords. So we're gonna look at some different layers that you might wanna use when creating chords for your future bass song. But first, we're gonna have a look at some chords. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is just make a new layer here. And then we're gonna go to the piano roll. Well, right now there isn't too much sound coming through, so I'm actually just gonna load up a synthesizer first. I'll just right click the first track, write T-I-L on my keyboard. No, not L. I'm actually gonna choose V for Vital and then press enter. Vital should open up. This right here is Vital, which is a really awesome and free synthesizer that I've used a bunch in my production and also featured on the channel a few times as well. Now, if I go back into my channel rack and open the layers that we made before, I'm just gonna click Vital here and then Set Children. That will actually assign this synth to this piano roll like this. Doing everything this way actually makes it much easier, as you can assign more instruments to the same piano roll. That basically just allows us to write the chords one time. So let me just make some chords real quick. Alright, so I found my chords right here. Now what we're gonna do real quick is just chop them up. The fastest way to do that is just head to this little top menu here, go to Tools, and then click Chop. Then I'm gonna click accept. I'm actually gonna make them just a tiny bit shorter, just a bit like this. Nice. Now what I'm gonna do is open my mixer and make a synth bus. Synth, I'm gonna call it bus. How do you guys spell that? Bus? 2 S's? 1 S? I'm gonna do 1 S. And I'm just gonna route all of my layers through this one bus. So for example, Vital here, I'm just gonna disconnect it from the master and reconnect it to the bus. This allows me to put sidechain on the entire thing at once. So let me open some sidechain. I really like that one. So we've got our chords sorted out. Now let's get to the sound design part. So for the first layer, I'm going to use the Vital that I've already opened. And this sound is going to be a bit more pluggy. It's going to be really aggressive. It's going to have a lot of timbre with the saw wave here. This is going to be like the main sound, and then we're going to add other layers to it later. So for a plug, you want your ADSR to look sort of like this. So of course, a really short attack, a short hold, a bit of the decay, and then pretty much no release or anything. So let's adjust this one. You can hear what this does. Bit of hold maybe. Just a tiny bit of attack just to remove that click. I'm also gonna add just a tiny bit of unison, like something like 7 voices maybe. Tiny bit of detune. So let's get to the effects. I'm gonna put on, let's say, a compressor. Maybe a tiny bit of reverb. Low mix. This sounds good to me right now. So now I'm gonna add another layer. I'm going to open Vital once more. Important thing is that you go into your layer channel, then select both Vitals, then set the children. And now they should both be playing with this one piano roll. Now this one I want to be more kind of hissy, so I'm actually gonna add some white noise. Turn the level way down before you play anything. Just like that. I've chosen a saw wave again. Let's add a bunch of unison. Now this one gets really stabby, so I'm just gonna increase release. This really widens the sound. So as you can hear, I've actually forgotten to put the second Vital to the mixer. So I'm actually just gonna open Vital, open the settings here, and then I'm just gonna press the track button, which just puts it into the mixer. Then I'm gonna route it to the synth bus and disconnect it from the master. Now, one thing that is also very important when you're producing future bass is, of course, the bass. You want a really gritty bass. Most of the time, of course, it is completely subjective. I usually go for a really aggressive, like a really aggressive and low bass. So let's add one real quick. I'm also gonna use Weisel for this one. I just love Weisel for stuff like this. I can't get enough. This one I'm not gonna connect to the layer. I'm actually just gonna make a separate piano roll for it, since it's the bass won't be playing chords anyway. Piano roll, I'm just gonna copy and paste it. Nice. Let's actually just name everything just for simplicity. This one will be the bass. Let's add it to the mixer as well. So go to the settings and click this little track button here. And now my bass is here too. I'm actually gonna put the bass channel through the synth bus as well. So of course disconnected from the master, connected to the synth. Now it will be sidechained as well. So for now, let's just solo the bass. If you hold Alt while pressing right click, it will actually just solo the bass and everything else that is necessary for the bass to come through. So it will also enable the synth bus while still disabling the other synths. Of course, first thing to do is just pitch it downwards. So I'm actually gonna put a sub underneath this one. So I'm just gonna enable the second oscillator, go to factory, basic shapes, and find a sine wave. It is right here. Then I'm actually gonna pitch this one down, maybe an octave or 2 octaves maybe. Yeah, this is like really deep, I think. So I'm also gonna add just a tiny bit of unison to the top bass, if you will. 3 voices, a tiny bit of detune, maybe like 2%. 3%? Maybe I'm actually gonna use like a square wave instead of the sine. Yeah. Instantly, it's way more aggressive. So maybe let's add just a tiny bit of distortion, soft clip, that's good. Yeah, this is really cool. We're getting a lot of top end that I don't really enjoy. We also have a lot of top end from the other synths. So maybe this is good. Maybe a bit steeper. Yeah, I think this is good. Let's hear it together with the other ones. I think it sounds pretty good already. We have a really wide sound stage from the very lows to the very highs, but I am gonna go to the current channel and I'm gonna load a plugin called Span. It is free. It's a frequency analyzer and it lets me see what is going on here. So let's go to the master and see what's going on. This is a really nice tool to see how even your levels are. I can see we're a bit weak on the bass maybe, but you can see how full everything is. Every frequency is a play. Now you can start to kind of blend these together as you wish. So let's start with the bass maybe. Then I'm just gonna turn the faders all the way down. I'm just gonna try to introduce them easily. Just kind of slowly turn them up to a level that you like. That sounds good to me. Let's bring in the top end. Yeah, this is pretty cool. The bass is a bit much, maybe? Yeah. Now what I like to do, because I mean these chords or the super saw whatever, well it sounds pretty future bass-ish. Well the sound does, but the chords they're too generic I think. So future bass often has these kind of breaks, da 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 da, something like that, instead of just, you know, all the time. So let me just try to make some breaks here. The chords are also a bit boring right now. There's just a whole lot. You might want to actually put a lead on top of these and they might just work. But I actually really like to play around with the inversions. So basically try moving everything. So let's say I could have the chorus sound like this. Or I could have it sound like this. It's the same chord, exact same, but as you can hear, there will always be just a tiny bit of extra focus on the top note. So that would be this E right here. That's the one you're actually hearing. Of course, you can hear these two, but you know what I mean. So again, just by playing around with the inversion, you can actually make the same chord sound completely different. So I've been playing around with the chords for, a bit longer than I should have, but this is what it sounds like right now. Yep, this sounds pretty epic if you ask me. I'm not really liking how these pauses sound like, so I'm just gonna maybe try and extend these. See if that works. Yep, sounds good to me. I'm also gonna extend the bass then. So this right here is basically the result for now. So, and just for fun, I put a drum loop underneath. So of course, this is far from done, but I really do hope that I've sparked an idea or gotten you started so that you can continue on adding more layers, adding more arrangement, changing the chords, whatever it is, so that you can go from idea to a full-on future bass production. This would actually sound really cool with some vocal chops maybe. I don't know. Pretty creative, guys. So I'm gonna leave you here. This was just a quick look into how I usually make chords for my music. I really hope you enjoyed and that you maybe have learned something new. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching. I really hope to catch you in the next one. Stay lit, folks.